Alright guys, in this video I'm going to go over how to determine proper exercise selection, or just exercise selection in general. I have three things here. Alignment, profile, and bracing. I've talked about these things in the past on Instagram and stuff, but some of you guys may not know what they mean. And I got a lot of this information, or actually all this information I guess, from somebody, Joe Bennett. You've probably heard me bring him up before. He is a muscle building, fat loss genius, biomechanic genius, and really puts a lot of thought into why we do certain exercises. Now, exercise selection in general is just a very dogmatic topic in the fitness industry. Like, for example, everybody like if I need to get a big chest, gotta do a flat barbell bench press. Want to get big shoulders, barbell military press. I have to put a barbell on my back to squat. Free weights are better at building muscle than machines. All these different type of things, like bent over barbell rows, really good mass builder. Skull crushers, really good mass builder. But if I go do tricep extensions on the rope, that's like an exercise that's going to make me cut, and it's going to make my triceps look more ripped and defined. Like all these things that really aren't true for the most part. You have to look at all exercise. All exercises are tools that will apply resistance through a range of motion. Some exercises will apply more resistance at certain parts of the range of motion than other exercises. So I guess to first start, we'll go over some of these things. I'll probably be jumping around here, and guys, I'm not like super really educated on this stuff. I know the concepts of it. I can apply it to the gym, which can ultimately lead to results. So if I'm gonna really try hard to not stumble my words or go on rants or say something that I might not be that educated on. So bear with me here. So the first one, alignment. So basically, all alignment is now. Well, having poor alignment is one of the biggest reasons why people have beat up joints. Aside from shitty execution, they pick exercises that have really bad alignment. They do not adhere to joint mechanics, that specific exercise. So to put it in simple terms, alignment basically means we want the load that we're lifting to basically run through or bisect the joint, the muscle that we're trying to influence. So for example, to show you guys on camera, if I'm doing a bicep curl, right, a cable, let's say it's a cable, or let's just a dumbbell bicep curl, basic dumbbell bicep curl. If I want to have good alignment on that bicep curl, which a lot of people mess this exercise up all the time, they end up ruining their elbows and their shoulders, nothing here should move. So I want that dumbbell, if you can imagine me holding a dumbbell, right, so if this marker is a dumbbell, I want that load to run directly through my elbow joint and then the bicep, right? So that. Okay, so that is having a good alignment. Now, what a lot of people do, they'll like take the dumbbell and they'll set up like this, right? They'll do like people do like where they do curls. They start doing this. Everything starts moving. And you're basically, so if this is the load's here, and then the joints we're trying to influence are here, right? So the load's going this way while the joint's over here. You can see how it's definitely not aligned, right? So another exercise or another example might be a lat pull down, for example. Or like a T-bar row. This is very common, a lat pull down. So a very common lat pull down would be like a narrow grip in here, right? So you're sitting and you're pulling this way, right? And we're trying to influence lats, I would assume, in this exercise where our lats are out here. So ideally, if you want to have good alignment in a lat pull down, like I don't think anybody should really be doing a pull down in here unless your structure and unless your shoulders are this far apart. So if you're like an infant, maybe. But for most people, because I don't think infants are going to be lifting weights, you need to have a wider grip. So that like V-bar that people do is like, I'll never use that bar. My clients will never use it. We need to find something with better alignment. So I would rather have handles instead of in here, right? So instead of, I'm not forcing myself into this position and pulling this way. I would want a handle that's like right here that aligns right through the muscles that I'm trying to influence. The joints, my shoulder joint, my lat, I'd rather be here opposed to in here. Same thing with the T-bar row. People use that same handle and they pull in here. I would want a handle that's here, right? It's gonna allow me to have better range of motion. It's gonna adhere to more joint mechanics. It's just gonna have better alignment overall. So alignment, again, to put it simple, we just wanna make sure that the resistance, the load, is running through or bisecting the joint or the muscle that we're trying to influence. Profile. So this is probably the most complex one, but extremely important. So an exercise profile would be, so ideally we want the exercise's profile or resistance profile. So every exercise that you do has a resistance profile. And then us as humans, we have a natural strength profile. Meaning, so a strength profile would be your muscles are stronger and weaker at certain parts of the range of motion. So you've heard me use these words before: the shorten range, the mid range, and the lengthen range. So taking a bicep curl, for example, if I'm out here flexing my bicep, so this would be the shortened range or the contracted range where my bicep's fully flexed. It's really, really weak in this position. It just cannot produce a lot of force. It's really weak here. Then this in the mid-range. So this is actually where a lot of people train, in that mid-range. So like a barbell skull crusher, or a barbell curl, right? Because of gravity, it's really, really hard here, right? But I'm really, really strong in this range, the mid-range. I'm really, really strong here. Then as I come up in that short range, the weight drops off. And then in the lengthen range, so it might be like an incline dumbbell curl, where your elbows are behind your body. It's going to be really hard where your muscle is stretched in that lengthened position. So again, you have the shortened range where you're weak, the mid-range where you're really, really strong, and then the lengthened range where you're still strong there, but not as strong as the mid-range, but you're stronger than the shortened range. And if you understand those things and you can apply them, it's going to make your training way, way more efficient. That's why you hired me, and this is what I'm going to do for you. So that is your body's strength profile. Then every exercise that you do, like I said at the beginning, has its own resistance profile, meaning it's going to be harder and easier at certain parts of the range of motion. So for example, sticking with a dumbbell curl, right? Just a basic